Brown in that 10 machine, lead him down into turn number 1 and 2. David Heilman, he'll keep it on the top shelf of the racetrack. Vinny Sansone pulls alongside Heilman. Sansone will move out to position number 2, working into turn number 3 and 4.
Everybody fanning out to different parts of the racetrack. Guys up top, guys on the bottom, guys right through the middle of the racetrack. Skylar Brown leads up 1-3 wide for the lead at turn number 1. Here comes the 49 of Heilman through the middle, Skylar. Tommy, my goodness, here we go.
Adam Elby right there as well in the 74, knocking on the door. He'll take it down to the bottom of the racetrack. About 3 wide for second as Sansone moves up to the race lead for the first time here tonight.
Yeah, your early leader there, Skylar Brown, got a little bit of a misstep off turn 2. Heilemann with a slide job. He takes the lead. Sansone right back down to the inside. And my, oh my, we've already had 3 lead changes in 3 laps.
Grooves everywhere here at Theodora Speedway working right now. Sansone up to the race lead. How long is he going to have it for? Just a moment. There's 3 wide still for position number 2. Almost 4 wide as the 98 of James Tiernan trying to throw his car in the mix.
Yeah, James Tiernan was very good in his heat race. He's looking real good early in this one. He's running 5th right now in car number 98. Just in front of him, it's Elby and Brown. Here comes Heilemann now. Looking to the inside of Sansone for the race lead, side by side down the back straightaway.
David Heilman trying to make it 3 feature wins in a row with the iRacing World Championship Series presented by Flow Racing. He slides up in front of the race lead once again. He'll lead lap number 5.
Sansone turns it right back underneath him. He'll throw a slide job into turn number 1. Sansone's got the spot back now. Heilemann turns it right back underneath him once again down the back straightaway. And Heilemann's got a big lead entering turn 3. Sansone tries coming right back at him.
Don't look now. Here comes the 98 of James Tiernan. He's now up to position number 3. Now maybe he'll challenge for the race lead here in just a moment. Working the bottom of the racetrack here at Eldora as David Heilemann now on the top shelf of the racetrack trying to run away with it.
And David Heilemann asserting his dominance here in this one. I thought he might take it easy with how things have played out here tonight, but he's going for 3 in a row with this series. James Tiernan, though, on the bottom of the racetrack, ladies and gentlemen, has made his way almost to the 2nd spot. He's challenging right next to Vinny Sansone right now for P2.
And Tiernan still working the bottom of the racetrack. Sansone falling back just a little bit, working about the middle of the racetrack. Not on the top, not on the bottom, just working kind of through the middle. A little different groove than what Heilemann and Tiernan are running right now, but it's working for him. He's hanging on to 2nd as they work down the back straightaway.
Yep, Tiernan now clears the 80 car. Sansone will keep an eye on the lap times right here to see if Tiernan can track down the 49 of Heilemann. They're running completely different lap places on the racetrack. That time by Heilemann with a 16.2 and Tiernan with a 16.3. So Heilemann right now pulling away up front.
And Brendan Rogers, he's up to position number 6, started 10th right now. Skylar Brown, your pulse hitters, still hanging on to a top 5 for the moment. All kinds of action back here as Brendan Rogers, he splits about 3 cars right there. How about 3 wide for 5th now?
Almost 4 wide off turn 2. Wow, what a move by Rogers. He tried to split between Elby and Edens, and he'll get the job done. Slide up in front of Adam Elby, and Rogers might have the 5th spot here off turn number 4.
Brendan Rogers actually battling for position, position number 5 now, maybe even more. Skylar Brown back up to the 4th place position, but back up front, David Heilemann stretched his lead out. 1 second is the difference between him and the 98 of James Tiernan at the moment.
David Heilemann so smooth up on the top of the racetrack as Brendan Rogers throws a big slide job into turn number 1 on Adam Elby. He's going to go in front of Skylar Brown almost, but Rogers does clear the 74 of Elby, and Brendan Rogers up to 5th now.
Yeah, good 3 wide racing still for the top 5 spot. Adam Elby back up to 4th, and they're 3 wide. That'll be Brendan Rogers in the middle, and now I do believe that's the 52 of James Edens on the bottom of the racetrack.
Oh my, this battle for the 4th position is incredible. 3 wide again off turn number 2. Here comes the 52 car. James Edens making a 4-car battle for the 4th spot as Skylar Brown puts a move on Adam Elby, tries to slide him, but Elby drives around on the outside off turn number 4.
Somehow with a 3 wide battle, they somehow managed to run down Vinny Sansone in the 80 machine, and now it's a 3-car dance for position number 3. A lot of contact in the middle of the field, and we have our first caution here on lap number 14.
Yeah, and it's Brendan Rogers who was put on an absolute show right there. Got into it with James Edens down the front straightaway, and Rogers put the rear right into the concrete and got hit by several drivers, got upside down here on lap number 15. But only 1 caution, man. We went halfway through the race there, Tommy, and saw some incredible racing. Brendan Rogers brings it out with 15 in here.
Very exciting racing to watch right there. The one driver that did not want to see that caution was the man on top of the leaderboards right now, David Heilemann. That erases a little over a 2nd lead from the 98 of James Tiernan. Tiernan's going to have clear racetrack to try to run down Heilemann for that race lead now.
And James Edens looks like he's heading to the pit area, and car number 52 had some kind of problem. He got in it with Brendan Rogers right there and might have some damage to the front end of that Swindell Speedline B Sports number 52 car. So he is surely going to be out of contention for tonight's victory. So tough break there. He was running inside the top 10, and that'll move Joel Berkeley now into the top 5. And car number 9, your guy that's in the 3rd spot in the point standings, is looking to have a good run here tonight as well.
Yeah, Joe Berkeley looking to improve on it. He's currently sitting third in the standings, probably going to improve on that here tonight. As Cole Cabrera, your runner-up in the points right now, did not make it to the main event. So Joe Berkeley looking to have a good run here and put himself on the runner-up spot. As the top prize in points, I do believe Chase pays, what, $6,000 to win, then it's, what, $3,000 and $1,000 for third. So good money on the line for the top 3 in points.
And not only that, but a trip to Ventura, California to meet Corey Cruzman and go through his sprint car driving school down there at the Ventura Raceway, which is a very cool prize to see these guys at USAC, iRacing, and Flow Racing giving out. We're about to go green this time by off turn number 4. David Heilemann, James Tiernan, and Vinny Sansone, your top 3. Let's see what the 98 of Tiernan's got as we go back green.
David Heilemann with a good restart right there. Pulls away but about 3 car lengths. Tiernan will take it down the bottom of the racetrack, try to get the run. David Heilemann just too much motor on the outside.
Tiernan gets a good drive off turn number 2, maintains about 3 car length gap back to the 49 of David Heilemann. Here he comes to the inside, pulls even with him in the center of the corner. The 98 car's got something figured out down low.
And Tiernan still working the bottom, very committed down there, trying to make something happen. Heilemann pulls away a couple of car lengths down the back straightaway. We'll see if Tiernan will take it to the outside of the racetrack or if he'll be committed to the bottom. Meanwhile, here comes the 74, Adam Elby, once again trying to throw his hat in the picture.
Yep, Elby. He got by Vinny Sansone, who got into the wall right there that last time by through turns 1 and 2. Sansone dropped to the back of the field, slider behind Elby for that 4th spot. Give it to Skylar Brown now as he slides in front of the 14 car of Alex Bergeron.
It'll be the 9 laps to go this time for the 49 of David Heilemann. James Tiernan second. Adam Elby holding on to position number 3 as they're pretty much single file right now, 1 through 5. Bergeron into the top 5 now, looking for more for Skylar Brown in car number 10.
Yeah, the 14 of Alex Bergeron just rolled the bottom real nice right there. Gets by the 10 car Brown. Now he throws a slide job on the 74 for Adam Elby. And now Bergeron late in the race has moved up to 3rd, but the caution's going to come out, Tommy.
Caution out on the racetrack. Maybe what Bergeron wanted to see right there. He'll restart 3rd if we get a restart in, as we're 22 laps down, still 8 laps remaining. So I do believe we'll get a restart in as David Heilemann showing the way. James Tiernan 2nd, but Alex Bergeron on the move right now. Started 11th up to 3rd. Great run by him. May have found something late in this race.
Yep, caution coming out there for the 44 car Blake Cannon, who made some contact with the 11 of Cole Newhoffman to bring out the yellow. Definitely will get a restart, and like you said there, Tommy, the 14 of Bergeron is loving the caution because Heilemann was out to a pretty solid advantage right there. That's going to bring the 14 right back up into him here, and Bergeron rolling the bottom like we saw the 98 of Tiernan do, which is not too characteristic here of Eldora Speedway, but he's making it work right now against all odds.
Yeah, absolutely. Ran a great lap time the lap beforehand, 16.5. David Heilemann was running a 16.8 on the same lap. So a couple of tenths faster. Alex Bergeron working the bottom of the racetrack the lap before the caution came out. But nonetheless, David Heilemann trying to look for the three-peat here tonight at Eldora.
Yeah, the thing about that bottom line, though, is, Tommy, we don't have to worry about tractor tires at a place like this, just pretty much that inside wall, but it's so much easier to run down there on the bottom. While Heilemann, one mistake, we will see him into the concrete wall like we've seen so many guys already tonight. So Bergeron really banking on those guys making mistakes on the top of the racetrack. So we'll see if that bottom side will pay off for him. He's up to the 3rd spot. He's got about 4 laps to, or make it 5 laps to have something happen here, as David Heilemann will lead James Tiernan, Bergeron, Elby, and Brown back to the green flag, and we're underway with 5 laps to go.
5 laps to go. David Heilemann back on the gas here at Eldora, and here comes Bergeron. Tiernan right there trying to make it 3 wide. Heilemann will take it back to the top once again. Tiernan trying to close down the back straightaway.
Oh man, David Heilemann might have to switch up his line. Here comes the 98 Tiernan. Tiernan gets the inside wall right there, hangs onto it, and he'll maintain a pretty good gap back to the 49 of Heilemann. Here comes the 14 of Bergeron on the outside.
Bergeron took it top shelf. He's going to try to take over second now from the 98 of Tiernan. Those two drivers look like they make a little contact right there. David Heilemann trying to run away with it as Alex Bergeron just can't quite find a way around the 98 of James Tiernan.
Yep, Tiernan lines up the racetrack. Bergeron right there with him, but while they're messing around with each other, the 49 car is pulling away. They've got to sort this out or else he's going to win an easy one here. Bergeron right back down to the inside of the 98 car of Tiernan down the back straightaway with just 2 laps to go this time by.
Yeah, 2 more times around the racetrack for the Heilemaniac, David Heilemann, and the Slick Sim Sports number 49 machine. They're still side by side for second. All that's doing is allowing the Heilemaniac to run away 1.5 more times around the racetrack here at Eldora.
Down the back straightaway for the penultimate time for the 49 car. The yellow's going to come out. Caution is out, and that will end the race as the 901 of Joe Quinn has gotten into the wall And it got collected with the 22 car. It looks like Trey Schmidt was there as well as the 5 of Rusty Kruger. But the 901 of Joe Quinn bring out the caution, and that'll hand the win right over the 49 car of David Heileman. That's the second time we've seen that this season, Tommy, that Heileman takes a win under yellow.
Yeah, tough break for the 901 of Joe Quinn. Just gets into the cushion just a little too hard right there and goes into the wall, and I'll bring out the caution on the final lap. But great drive by David Heileman. I know he'll take it any way he can get it, and that'll set up for the three-peat here tonight at Eldora.
This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Good evening and welcome to the iRacing Esports Network, where we bring you live coverage from round 5 of the USAC World Championship Series, presented to you by Flow Racing here on the iRacing circuit. And we come to the sprint car capital of the world in Knoxville, Iowa, known as Knoxville Raceway. Randy Chineth, Tommy Rowe, and Hugo Louis bringing you all the action on this one here today. Chase Rodman, a little break due to the situation in Northern California with the companies and the high winds. But, Tommy, no other way to say it, this racetrack, absolutely iconic to open-wheel dirt track racing in the United States.
Yeah, perhaps the sprint car capital of the world, perhaps the most famous dirt track in all the world, Knoxville Raceway. Home to some of the best sprint car racing in the country, and tonight it's going to be quite the same, as you got the best USAC wingless drivers out here getting set to compete for a 30-lap main event. Can anyone knock off David Heileman? He comes in here with 3 feature wins in a row.
Yep, USAC has just returned to running at this track in 2017 after taking a 6-year hiatus, and earlier this year they had the first running of the Corn Belt Nationals that saw Brady Bacon take victory after pretty much leading the entirety of that race. But the important thing for us here tonight, Tommy, is just talking about this track on the sim. It is very, very quick. You see very good racing lines generally in all the cars we've seen here. We've seen the winged cars put on great shows here. We've seen late models put on good shows here. I know the modifieds run good here. This is traditionally a track that sees top and bottom lanes come in, be strong, and be available to the drivers regardless of the duration of the event or the cars being run.
Yeah, we've seen throughout this series, these guys are able to run top, bottom, pretty much anywhere on the racetrack in these wingless sprint cars. And I'm expecting to see a lot of the same here tonight at Knoxville. You'll see that bottom lane come in early, and then these drivers will drift up to the top, and then the top will slicken back off. And then it'll be the driver who can best manipulate the bottom of the racetrack, maybe towards the middle, and make that slider line come into effect and possibly steal a win here at Knoxville.
Now let's take a look at the points, and well, it's all been all Heilemania thus far. Look at David Heileman, 62 points clear of his teammate Joel Berkeley. Zach Leonardi there rounding out the top 3, and then get to Cole Cabre, not even 100 points back of that leader of David Heileman. 105 points back, 107 is Brennan Rogers, and that's really, I think, been one of the big talking points here, Tommy. Just not just how strong David Heileman's been, but Brennan Rogers, he came out, he won the opening round at Fairbury, and then he's just had absolutely dreadful luck or not had the speed. It's really a big shock to see the driver who came out win round 1 be 107 points off that the points leader here this early in the championship. We're only on round 5.
Yeah, unfortunately for Brennan Rogers, he's had some great runs so far this season, just hasn't had the luck and put together a string of finishes that he's wanted since taking home that win in week number 1. But we'll start different here tonight, halfway through the season here tonight, round number 5. Only 4 more races left after this one. Anything can happen.
Yep, as Tommy said, we're going to be halfway home in this championship following the race this evening, and this is going to be the second of 3 half-mile racetracks this championship will visit. We will have Williams Grove in a couple of weeks, but Kokomo next week, which of course was great. Qualifying is about to get started here, and cars will be making the way out on the racetrack. Right now we're looking at the 90 of Joe Quinn, who's about halfway through his opening lap. The 90 has been very good in these last couple of races, put on some good shows, and what he can do on his first trip around the racetrack. Quick time in practice with a 17.610 put down by Anthony Lepresto. Qualifying times dropping down into the 17.9, and right now the 131 of Bobby Sant Jr. has quick time at the moment.
Yeah, Bobby Sant Jr. snuck into the main event last week after contact between the Cabrera brothers. Bobby Sant Jr. able to get into the main event and make a little noise. We're just a couple of drivers into qualifying thus far. Expect David Heilemann to be very strong here at Knoxville, one of his favorite places to come to.
He's been putting on a good show. The 52 of James Edens is rolling off. He'll get some laps in for qualifying. The 8 of Matt Howard right now, he's going to come to the end of his first timed lap, and he's going to go to an 18.150. A couple tenths off the leader. See him running the top line through corners at 1 and 2 right now. James Edens running the same line up there on his qualifying lap that he's just started. So he's just tripped the start of his lap in towards turns 3 and 4. He's going to run the middle, a little bit of a slider line actually, but little ways up the racetrack. And let's see what that 52 Swindell Speed Lab Esports car can do. Lap 1, 17.959. That puts him third quick right now. Can he find a couple hundreds?
Yeah, he's going working down the back straight away. He'll go into turn number 3 and 4 for the final time. Dip it down low, slide up towards the cushion here at Knoxville, bring it back towards the middle. Second lap will come in at a 17.959 for James Eden, still 5th on the leaderboards.
Second lap with an 18.3, but 17.959 was a quick one. You only get 2 laps. Right now, pole time is the 901 of Joe Quinn with a 17.935. David Heilemann stopped and is not taking his second lap, but Heilemann 17.947. Chase Cabrera out there on the racetrack. He's currently gone third quick, and I'm noticing a trend here, Tommy. Guys are coming out. Their first lap is a quick one, but they're not matching that pace. The second trip around the racetrack. People are falling off a couple of tenths. Bergeron on the racetrack. He goes to a 17.992. Let's see if he can maybe break the trend and get a little bit more consistent through the 2-lap run. And actually, you know what? He's pulling it off halfway down the back straightaway and in towards 3 and 4. So he won't improve. The 11 of Cole Newhoffen, though, he's getting ready to start a time, as is Austin Semmelman.
I'm wondering if these drivers may have put in enough gas to make it through qualifying. You can only put in about 1 or 2 gallons, and it may not be enough here in the wingless sprint cars running around the 18-second bracket. And you see a lot of these guys only completing 1 lap and then coasting around like Alex Bergeron did right there to the finish line. So fuel may be a factor here in qualifying, Randy.
And talking about these cars here, Tommy, these cars, you know, a lot of people, especially on the oval side of racing, maybe not as used to hearing fuel being such a big changer to how the cars handles and, you know, the dynamics of them. You know, a lot of road drivers, you know, it's always a big talking point, especially back in the days where F1 allowed refueling is, you know, the different strategies then. See that teardrop shape on the back of these race cars, for those who are maybe unfamiliar, that's the fuel tank. And it's an interesting thing, Tommy, for a couple reasons, because one, sprint cars are the only vehicles I know of where the fuel tank basically hangs off the back. Also, you can put midgets into that category as well, where the fuel tank hangs that far off the back of the race car. Wind cars, they'll, and what ends up happening is when you have a full tank, the car is typically very, very loose and very slidey under race conditions. Here in qualifying, you take all that weight out of the car, and these cars are so light, it's a significant percentage of the weight you're taking out. And because it's coming right off the tail end of the car, right off the rear axle, it really does tighten up that race car. As we look at the qualifying results, everyone's logged laps, and it's going to be Joe Quinn who sets quick time. But here in these non-wing cars, all you really got are some shock adjustments to play with to be able to manage the handling of the race car. Compare that to the winged car, where that wing, that top wing moves forward and backward. Not a lot to really do in these cars to manage the fuel load outside of driving the car different and managing the oversteer with your right foot.
Absolutely. Setup comes into play right here with the shocks, like you said, and possibly a little bit of stagger change, but nonetheless, other than that, you don't have the wing, you know, control the downforce on the race car. So, you know, really not much to play with other than the fuel. Like you said, you know, fuel can play a big role here at Knoxville. Going to have to calculate the right amount to put in to make sure your car is just fast enough to cross the finish line 30 laps later.
There it is. All 29 cars have qualifying times logged in, and let's go to your first heat race that's getting grid up right now, and it's in the 9:01 of Joe Quinn, who puts on quick time here of a 17:935. He will start on the inside of row 1 for this first heat race. The 52 of James Edens will start alongside him, with row 2 being made up of Trey Schmidt and James Tiernan. Cole Newhoffen and Colton Hardy on road number 3, with Joel Berkeley and Alex Smulders on road number 4. And seemed to be a lot of drivers through that qualifying session, Tommy, kind of migrating to the middle of the top side of the racetrack. Going to be interesting to see how these tracks develop through these first 4 heat races. It's not uncommon in this series and in all the dirt oval series we've had, to be honest, to see the first heat race have a much different line than the next one, and then of course the third heat might change, and the fourth race going to be completely different from the first one. Just the amount of long laps that have been your event format. 4 heat races in total. Top 4 from each go directly to the feature, and then the last chance qualifier, the top 2 from each will go to the main event as well, and then the 30-lap main event afterwards. But it's going to be really interesting watching how this racetrack develops, because this really is a driver favorite.
Absolutely, this track is very tricky. It's very fun to run, but like you said, these drivers run the top. That top can slick it off very quickly, and these drivers have to make sure they find the right grip and where the moisture goes on the racetrack to get their cars around it. Very impressed by Joe Quinn. Comes in here not having a great season, currently sitting 23rd in points. He's going to lead him to the green here in heat race number 1. Great drive by him for the D1RT Racing driver 901 machine out of Ohio. Going to set to lead him to the green next time out of turn number 4.
4 different teams inside of the top 4 here. You got Joe Quinn from D1RT. Then you have James Edens of Swindell Speed Labs Esports. Trey Schmidt in 3rd, representing Tony Stewart Racing. And then James Tiernan with Elbows Up Simsport, rounding out your top 2 rows. Then you actually have Cole Newhoffen in 5th with Kinzer Racing Sim Team. They will come through turns 3 and 4. That iRacing safety truck will get waved down to the infield, and we will be green flag racing here at Knoxville. The 901 sees all clear. It's on it. We're side by side for the lead. Great jump for the 52 of James Edens into 1 and 2 for the first time. Crossover for the lead already. And the 52 going to try to get the momentum down there on the bottom to fight for the race lead. Side by side for 3rd. In the background, slider from James Edens. No, he's not going to send it through 3 and 4 the first time. And Joe Quinn will just hold on to the first half-mile trip around the racetrack.
Joe Quinn trying to hang on to it. James Edens still right beside him down the back straightaway as James Tiernan runs in position number 3 right behind these guys. But the battle is on for the race lead. Edens will slide it up in front of Quinn this time. Quinn going to cross him back over at the line. We got a car upside down towards the back.
Big incident in the background is going to take out a couple of cars, but the race lead still side by side. The top to bottom move didn't quite work out for Joe Quinn, as James Edens now holds the lead and stretches out a little bit of a lead down the back straightaway. Now James Tiernan from 3rd. He wants to harass that 901 car as they're going to work through turns number 3 and 4, starting lap number 4 of 8 in the opening heat race, and starting to get a little spread out here as the 52 of Edens trying to set himself up with that pole position starting spot for the feature tonight.
Coming around a halfway home this time. Edens not able to pull away from Quinn like he thought he would after clearing him. Actually, Quinn's going to get a run down the front straightaway. He'll try to maybe make a move into turn number 1 and 2. He does not. They run single file right now, 1, 2, and 3. Colton Hardy holding on to the 4th and final transfer spot as Cole Newhoffen slowly catching ground on it.
James Edens tightens up the exit of turn 4, allows the 901 to motor up on top and rein in a little bit of space. 1 and 2, all 3, all 4, everyone in this heat race running the same line. James Edens tightens off the exit a little bit off of 2, screaming down the back straightaway and in towards 3 and 4. Cars that pretty much migrated to the top. Not a big slick line on the entry into 3, but 1 mile left to go in this one. If Joe Quinn has anything, he's got to reel it in now.
Yeah, Joe Quinn's working on James Edens down the back straightaway once again. And now we have a battle for the 4th and final transfer spot here in heat race number 1. Newhoffen on the bottom of the racetrack makes a little contact with a 41 of Colton Hardy. That'll allow Trey Smith to move up to position number 5, 1 spot out.
Some of the biggest names in dirt racing trying to get this last transfer spot. Swindell Speed Labs Esports, Tony Stewart Racing, and Kinzer Racing Sim Team down the back straightaway for the final time. Running for the transfer, here comes Trey Schmidt up the inside, but he's going to send it too hard. He collects Newhoffen as well. Your top 3 will be Edens, Quinn, and Tiernan, and Hardy will collect that final transfer spot as well. Just a little bit too committed was Trey Schmidt. Cole Newhoffen will slot on the 5th spot because of that. Trey Schmidt into 6th with Alex Smulders and Joel Berkeley rounding out the 8 cars in that opening heat race. And that was a good one there, Tommy, and that's telling me at least here early we're seeing some These guys are all liking that top side of the racetrack. The really only differences in line we saw near the end of that first heat was how you were driving off turn 2 and turn 4.
Yeah, we got some exciting stuff happening in heat race number 1 right there. These drivers able to stay with one another, put on a great race. Top of the racetrack's working really well right now. But we'll see how it'll play out once we get some more cars on the racetrack, get a few more laps on that racetrack, see how it slickens up, see if I have to maybe come down off the top of the racetrack and work down towards the bottom as we get set to go heat race number 2, getting set to come out on the racetrack, Randy.
On the pole position is going to be your points leader, David Heileman, the Heilemaniac. He said last week that Heilemania was going all the way to Ventura, and he's trying to keep that momentum up, putting in second quick time here tonight. Aiden Perdue will start on the outside of that front row. Bobby St. Jr. and Alex Bergeron will make up row number 2, with Lewis Hewitt and Ryan Diotti on row number 3. And it's just going to be the 74 of Adam Elby. Rounding out was going to be just a 7-car heat race on this one. Number of big hitters in this heat race here. Tommy Heileman, of course, at the head of the field. Aiden Perdue has had some good runnings thus far this season. Bobby St. Jr., I think he had really impressive pace last week. Bergeron, of course, in 4th. Hewitt in 5th. Top 5, I think, are all cars I would normally say are potential favorites to get their way directly into the feature.
Absolutely, and you can't count out the guy starting shotgun on the field. Adam Elby back there in car number 74. We've seen him towards the front in a lot of these races early on, currently sitting in the top 10 in points with 2 top 5s on the season. So, yeah, some great hitters here in heat race number 2. David Heileman gets set to lead him back to the green. I do believe next time out of 4 should be a lot of fun to watch.
Heat race number 1 with a little bit of a freight train around the top side of the racetrack. Let's see if this next 8 laps with these 7 guys maybe start seeing that bottom or middle line come in just a little bit, as David Heileman, your points leader, just looking to continue his reign of momentum and probably keep logging off top 5s. He'll just about have a championship wrapped up if he keeps up that sort of momentum. The 49 waiting to see the green flag. Perdue tries to jump it, isn't able to do it. The 49, though, he jumps the berm on the inside and is able to get away with that. And side by side in towards turn 1, nearly 3 wide for the 3rd spot, through 1 and 2 for the first time. The fight for the race lead is on as well. Aiden Perdue noses into the lead, but he can't hold it. 3 and 4 for the first time. Slide job for the race lead. Aiden Perdue up to the cushion. The 49 of Heileman gets down to the bottom. They're going to be drag racing to start finish here, side by side, up and down your field. And Aiden Perdue led that first lap, but Heileman right back to the top side, trying to take it back. And 3 wide nearly for the race lead down the back straightaway. Oh, big pile up in the background. That's going to take out 3 cars, and it's going to be the top 4 all running just for 1st through 4th.
4-car dance for the race lead. How about 3 wide for the race lead? David Heileman going to slide up in front of Bergeron. That'll allow Perdue to run away with it down the back straightaway. Bergeron, he'll move up to position number 2 here in heat race number 2. Action is heating up. Heileman going to try to cross Bergeron back over for that 2nd place spot. They run side by side as they complete lap number 3.
Remember, each position that you finish up represents 4 rows in starting position for the main event. So if you finish 1st in this race, you will start 2nd. If you finish 4th, you will start all the way back in 16th. So it's very important as Heileman gets into the 14th of Bergeron, and he shoves him back to that 8th row on their starting grid right now. Cross flags in heat race number 2. Side by side 3rd is Ryan Diotti. Just got given that 3rd spot from Alex Bergeron after that moment with David Heileman. He's going to try to hold on to it. Slide job for the Team ABR car of Alex Bergeron for that 3rd spot. Alex has it for now, and he's got good speed off the top.
Aiden Perdue, he's running away with heat race number 2. Battle still on for position number 2. Heileman has it, running down the back straightaway. Bergeron trying to cross him over. Couldn't quite get the bite down the bottom of the racetrack, and he'll hang on to position number 3. Ryan Diotti sitting in 4th in the wings. Those are your top 4 drivers right now, coming around to 2 laps to go this time.
Slider getting set up by Bergeron right now for 2nd. Heileman cuts it back down to the bottom. Off of turn 2, down the back straightaway. Bergeron, if he wants that 2nd spot, he's going to have to work for it. Heileman is not giving him an inch right here. White flag off of turn 4 this time for Aiden Perdue. Heileman and Bergeron will see it as well. Final timing towards 1 and 2. Heileman takes the slider line away. Alex all the way up to the racetrack, nearly gets into the outside wall, and they will run down the back straightaway pretty much even. The 49 defensive line on the bottom again. Alex a little bit too loose up top, and he might lose 3rd because of it all the way down to the bottom. No, he'll maintain good traction. Purdue will take that first spot away with Heileman, Bergeron, and Viotti rounding out the transfers from heat race number 2. It's going to be Lewis Hewitt, Adam Elby, and Bobby Sant Jr. who are going to have to be coming out of the LCQs. And we're starting to see here, Tommy, a very, very top dominant racetrack. I was expecting to maybe see that top line start going away through that second heat race, but it's not happening yet.
Yeah, we're seeing some great slide job action. Aiden Purdue able to pull away after making the move on David Heileman, but the fight was on for position number 2. David Heileman, Alex Bergeron just giving it all they had, sliding each other corner through corner. But it was David Heileman able to pull away for position number 2. We got 2 more heat races coming up right now.
Let's go down your starting grid. Your front row is going to be Chase Cabray and Zach Leonardi. Leonardi currently 3rd in the championship standings, only 17 points back of Joel Berkeley. Anthony Lepresto and Bob King, they're going to make up row 2 with Josh Fox and Hunter Connolly on row 3, and Jeff Nevins will round out the 7-car field for heat race number 3 as these guys are going to get start rolling off. Chase Cabray, I know we saw him steal a win at Kokomo in the World of Outlaws Championship here, Tommy, and he's definitely someone that loves dirt racing. He's, of course, a K&N driver. We've seen him in that championship, was part of the championship fight, matter of fact, this year in the K&N series, and he's been very big in dirt racing as well. He runs at the Chili Bowl, oftentimes one of the outlaw cars that runs before the actual Midget Chili Bowl event, and one of the little winged cars that they run there. Very, very successful dirt driver here, and he hasn't quite been able to put it all together here with the non-wing series just yet, but he's probably looking keen on doing so after a strong qualifying performance here tonight.
Yeah, he's only made a couple of starts, only made 2 of the first 4 starts here for the USAC World Championship Series, but he's here tonight at Knoxville starting on the pole for heat race number 3, but he's got a very strong competitor on the outside of row number 1 with Zach Leonardi. Leonardi running 3rd in the championship series, trying to help himself out as Joel Berkeley in heat race number 1, your current runner-up right now in the point standings, did not finish the race, so look for Zach Leonardi to try to gain some ground on position number 2, maybe even take a win and sneak some points on David Heileman as the heat races do count 4 points towards that championship series. So all the points matter here in the USAC World Championship Series. Coming to green, Randy.
We are green. Chase Cabray, big jump here, gets out a couple of car lengths already on the race lead. Fight is on now for transfer spots at 39. He gets into the outside wall, and he's able to get saved there. The 24, though, Zach Leonardi is the one who saved him, and it cost Zach all sorts of time. Leonardi from 2nd all the way down to the back of the field with big damage, and that's 2 weeks now in a row here, Tommy. We've seen the 39 of Cabray tag the outside wall in one of these races. It was Cole Cabray last week who was the victim. This week is Leonardi on the opening turns of heat race number 3.
Yeah, Chase Cabray, he's going to benefit from that and pull away as your race leader. Anthony Lepresto up to position number 2. Josh Fox, Jeff Nevins right now holding on the 4th and final transfer spot. But here comes Hunter Connolly, going to try to throw a big slider in there for 4th as they work down the back straightaway.
Down they come down this back straightaway, trying to make up any spots they can. Cars starting to get a little bit strung out here. Hunter Connolly trying to get that transfer spot, though, from Jeff Nevins. Nevins started at the tail end, started in the caboose on this heat race and holds the transfer spot. Connolly trying to set the move up outside, doesn't have it. Going to look back down to the bottom. Off of turn number 2, they're going to be side by side for the transfer. In towards 3 and 4, slide job line from Hunter Connolly. Nevins, can he drive it right back down to the bottom? No, that car's a little bit too loose, but still gets good speed. He's down there. He's going to throw the slider, though. Is the 00. Jeff Nevins right up to the outside line of the racetrack, but can't quite get there as they move their way down this back straightaway. The 121 of Josh Fox and Hunter Connolly, they're also fighting for 3rd and 4th.
Good side-by-side battle for the 4th and final transfer spot. Hunter Connolly battles around Jeff Nevins. Nevins going to try to dive it down towards the bottom, down the back straightaway. Can't quite make the pass stick, and he'll fall back to position number 5 as Chase Cabray still shows about a 2nd lead over Anthony Lepresto. There's Josh Fox in position number 3, but the battle still back here for the 4th and final transfer spot as Connolly starting to pull away from Nevins now as we've got just 2 laps to go here in heat race number 3.
Off of turn 2, the 121 of Josh Fox gets a good run, but not good enough. Had to check up off the back of the 057 of Anthony Lepresto. They'll be seating the white flag this time off of turn number 4. Chase Cabray is checked out with a 1.1 second lead. Here comes the 121 of Josh Fox. Can't quite set the move up on the outside, though, on the 057 of Anthony Lepresto. Will there be a bit of a Hail Mary slider in towards 3 and 4? Lepresto takes the line away in towards 3 and 4. Fox around the outside, though. Can't quite motor up there. Cabray will take the win. Lepresto hold on for 2nd, and Josh Fox and Hunter Connolly will round out your top 4 transferees. And it's going to be Jeff Nevins, Bob King, and notably Zach Leonardi, who I don't think is going to be too happy with Chase Cabrera after the start of that heat here, Tommy.
Yeah, Zach Leonardi running, like I said, third in the championship series, starting on the outside pole, and unfortunately did not get to complete the first lap here in heat race number 3. Gonna have to come from one of those last chance qualifiers to salvage all the points he can here tonight. We're getting set to go 4th and final heat race, getting set to come our way.
The biggest drivers in this non-wing series has been the 80 of Vinny Sansone. We've seen him be a part of this championship almost week in and week out, and part of running up near the front. Austin Selman will start on the outside of him. The little brother of Chase Cabrera, Cole Cabrera, will be on the inside of row 2 with Skylar Brown starting on the outside. Justin Thomas and the winner from week 1, Brendan Rogers, will start on the outside of row 3, and Matt Howard will tag the back of the final heat race of the evening before we get on the last chance qualifiers. And I'm surprised here, Tommy, we're nearly 24 laps of racing in, and that line does not seem to have moved off the top side of the racetrack whatsoever. Guys are still putting up there near the wall. No one really running the bottom just yet.
Yeah, it looks like it's right now. It looks like it's going to be a momentum style race. You're going to have to maybe use one of those slide jobs to make your way through the field. As you see drivers, get a great run on a driver down the corners and have to throw that big slide job in there to make a pass. And it's been like that through our first 3 heat races. We'll see if that bottom will come into play as that top wears off, as we're getting set to go 4th and final heat race, 8 laps to distance, top 4 and final drivers will transfer over to the main event. We'll get set to go with our last chance qualifiers here in just a moment. It's been a lot of fun so far to watch.
Let's see what the D1RT car of Vinny Sansone can make happen here. Of course, the Tony Stewart Racing Selman Sim Racing car of Austin Selman on the outside. Austin always a factor. Through 3 and 4 now. iRacing safety truck down towards the infield. Gonna let these guys loose, and Vinny gets on it. We are green for the final heat race of the night. Vinny is clear, but here comes the fight for second. We've seen every single race thus far, and slider for the 12 of Cole Cabrera gets right up ahead of Austin Selman. Austin back down to the bottom, trying to get this move right back in towards P2. Slide job from the 18 of Austin Selman, but here comes Cole Cabrera, but no, can't quite get it turned back down to the bottom. The 18 holds on to second.
Yeah, Austin Selman gets a great run, slides back in front of the 12 of Cole Cabrera. Down the back straightaway works, now has his sights set on the race leader of Vinny Sansone. Sansone about 4 car lengths in front of Selman this time as they come around to complete lap number 2. Still 6 laps remaining. Austin Selman trying to run down the race leader of Vinny Sansone here in heat race number 4.
Field single filing out, couple cars trying the slider line in the background, and that was Matt Howard and Justin Thomas. Neither of them sticking with it, though, I don't think, in towards 3 and 4 this time. The 80 to Sansone, a little bit of different line this time, getting taken by a couple of these drivers. Both Sansone and Skylar Brown in the background ran the same line. Skylar, though, nearly under attack from Brendan Rogers in this fight. Fight for the race lead is closing in as the 80 made a little bit of a mistake, it looked like, in the 18 of Selman. Nice run time. The 80 of Sansone still trying this bottom line here, Tommy. We're starting to see this groove maybe move down to the bottom.
Yeah, Vinny Sansone lost a lot of ground right there, and here comes the 18 of Austin Selman as well as the 12 of Cole Cabrera. Cabrera may slide in front of both of these drivers down the back straightaway. 3-car dance for the race lead. We're going to have a new race leader into turn number 3. Give it to Cole Cabrera.
Half a mile, Cole Cabrera picks up 2 spots and has the race lead here in the final heat race. 3 laps to go this time. In towards turn 1, the fight is on for second. Selman on the outside, Sansone on the inside. Working down the back straightaway. Vinny not quite able to keep the momentum up. Also, the fight is on for the final transfer spot. It's Skylar Brown who has it now, but Brendan Rogers is making his case for it as well. Vinny tried to slide the 18, but Selman was not going to be scared off the top.
That moment, he's going to try to slide up in front of the 12 of Cabrera. Couldn't quite get the run. Now he gets a little loose right there, trying to hang on to it down the back straightaway. 1.5 more times around the racetrack here in heat race number 4 for the 12 machine of Cole Cabrera. It's Austin Selman, Vinny Sansone, and Brendan Rogers now holding on to the 4th and final transfer spot.
We saw it on the cameras there. Skylar Brown, big incident there, fighting with Brendan Rogers. He went end over end, and he's going to have to come through the LCQ there. We'll take a look at your post-race results here in just a moment. Cole Cabrera working now through turns number 3 and 4, and down the front straightaway, he'll see the checkered flag. It's going to be Austin Selman who holds on to second. Vinny Sansone goes from pole and goes all the way back to third. Brendan Rogers does it the opposite way. He starts 6th, and he ends up in the 4th spot at the end of that one with Matt Howard, Justin Thomas, and Skylar Brown rounding out the 7-car field. And I'm going to be honest here, Tyler, Tommy, excuse me, Skyler has had no luck this year. We've seen him have great speed all season long. We saw him at Fairbury. He was fighting for the race win there early, and then it just seems like ever since then that car seems quick, but he's always getting the short side of luck week in and week out.
Yeah, he started on the pole last weekend at the Eldora Speedway, and it did not work out for him there. He's had some great speed, like you said, but just not able to put a complete finish together yet. And now he'll have to start shotgun on the field here in the last chance qualifier. Only going to take the top 4 drivers from this last chance qualifier. We got some names in this last chance qualifier that should be a lot of fun to watch, including second in the points, Joel Berkeley, starting in position number 13. Zach Leonardi currently third in the points, starting in 11th. So a great field of drivers getting set to grid up for this B main.
Like you said, there's some big names up and down the field here. We'll take a look at the starting grid. Cole Newhoffen and Lewis Hewitt will make up that front row with Jeff Nevins and Matt Howard on that second row. Trey Schmidt and Adam Elby, row number 3. Bob King, Justin Thomas on row 4. Alex Smolders and Bobby Sant Jr. on row number 5. Zach Leonardi and Skylar Brown on row 6. And then Joel Berkeley tagging the back of the field on this one. Is going to be 12 laps. And we'll be taking the top 4 going to the pier. It's only going to be a single last chance qualifier due to the number of cars we have. And like you said here, Tommy, some big names here, and we're almost see it week in and week out that someone comes from deep in one of these things to get themselves transferred. Who do you think's the likely candidate here? It's hard to look at the 24, Zach Leonardi, and even the 10 of Skylar Brown and say those guys won't make it to the main.
It's hard to look at any one of those bottom 3. Even Bobby Sant Jr. Bobby Sant Jr. was the beneficiary last week with the Cabray brothers got together. He snuck into that from that last chance qualifier on the very last lap. He starts 10th. But, you know, Joel Berkeley, Zach Leonardi, Skylar Brown, all very fast in the back. You got Adam Elby starting 6th. So a couple of these drivers on the outside looking in, definitely capable of getting up there in one of those top 4 spots. Should be a lot of fun to watch here as they come around the back straightaway for the final time.
Drive past the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame off of turn 2 here at Knoxville, and going to be getting themselves ready. Drivers in the front wanting to just hold on to their spots and get their way into the feature. Drivers in the back having to put on a show to get themselves into the show. The 11 of Cole Newhoffen from Kenza Racing Sim Team. He's going to pick up the throttle. He leaves everyone in the dust. The 11 will have a great gap to work with, and they scream at a 1 and 2. For the first time, 3 wide, second, third, and fourth. Lewis Hewitt gets tagged. I see a couple other cars in the background, end over end as well. Who is that tumbling? I believe that's the 74 of Adam Elby, who's had an absolutely horrible week thus far with all the luck he's been going on. Jeff Nevins, though, he's going to slot himself up into second. We're still side by side up and down the field.
Almost 3 wide for second right there. I do believe that's the 211 car on the bottom of the racetrack. That's Alex Smolders. That's another driver to keep your eye out on here. He's going to try to slide up in front of Jeff Nevins for position number 2. Matthew Howard trying to hold on to that 4th and final transfer spot. A couple of those drivers involved in that wreck included the 24 of Zach Leonardi, who now finds himself running in 12th, and the 74 of Adam Elby. Ooh, Zach Leonardi upside down once again by himself. But back up front, it's a great battle for position number 2. Alex Smolders, Jeff Nevins side by side now for second.
The fight is on for a second here. Guys are being absolutely cutthroat right now, not leaving each other much space and throwing moves at there. The double zero makes a mistake up top. Does that all by himself, and he gets into Matt Howard as well. So is there going to be damage on Matt Howard? Smolders is going to, Nevins is going to tumble. That's going to be the end of his night. Cars getting upside down everywhere here. We don't have Rusty Kruger here racing tonight, but you might think so the way things are going. Coming towards halfway in this LCQ, Newhoffen, Smolders, Howard, Schmidt currently hold your transfer spots. And oh, the 9 of Joel Berkeley, I was just about to mention him. Man on a mission from last on the grid with 13th and was up to 5th at one moment. He just made a mistake, and he's dropped down a couple of spots, but he needs to reel in Trey Schmidt, and everyone fighting there amongst 5th place needs to reel in that 22 to transfer.
Yeah, Bobby Sant Jr., he's up from 10th to 5th, and here comes Joel Berkeley on a rail, trying to run it out. Started 13th. Alex Smolders started 9th. He's up to 2nd as Trey Schmidt holding on to that 4th and final transfer spot as we work lap number 7, halfway home here in the last chance qualifier. Cole Newhoffen has just checked out. It's Alex Smolders, Matt Howard, and Trey Schmidt, your top 4, as these drivers have pulled away from the 5th place driver of Bobby Sant Jr. is trying to run them down here in the last half of the race.
Bobby was a little bit quicker than that number 22 last trip around the racetrack, but I don't know if he has the time and the speed that he has. Plus the 9 of Joe Berkeley is not going to cut him any slack if he's able to get there. Off of turn 2 this time. Looking at the lap charts again, a 10th and a half reeled in by that entire group on the 22 of Trey Schmidt. Here comes the 9 of Joe Berkeley. He's going to try to slide. Actually, no, he just run the bottom on Bobby Sant Jr. Is that second line starting to come in? Seems like the answer is yes. The 9 is hooked up the bottom, and it's looking good. And Bobby Sant Jr. going to try to throw the move right back, but he's not going to be able to get there.
Joel Berkeley has been the fastest man on the racetrack for the last 3 laps, and he's trying to run down the 22 of Trey Schmidt for the 4th and final transfer spot. He moves around the 131 of Bobby Sant Jr. Now has his sights set on that 22 machine as he's closed the gap very, very quickly. He may pass 2 cars and even get up to 3rd here in the next lap or so.
Berkeley's run the bottom, it's worked. He's run the top, it's worked. That 9 car is working everywhere on the racetrack. Slider from Trey Schmidt. The 8 there, Matt Howard. That's going to allow Berkeley to nearly pick up 2 spots at once. He's going to slide the 8 car to put himself into a transfer spot from last on the grid. Here comes that 10 car, Skylar Brown, trying to follow him through as well. Down the back straightaway, in towards 3 and 4. White flag. This time as they come off the corner. And who is the quartet we're going to send to the main event? Newhoff and Smolders and Schmidt. They seem likely, but Matt Howard, Joe Berkeley, Skylar Brown, they're going to fight for it off of turn 2. The 9 gets into the 8 car, they're tumbling, and it looks like it's going to be Bobby Sant Jr., who by elimination picks up the 4th spot.
Bobby Sant Jr. make it 2 weeks in a row. He's going to sneak in to the big dance on the final lap thanks to contact with other drivers. Bobby Sant Jr. must have a 4-leaf clover in his pocket because today is his lucky day once again.
Bobby Sant Jr. from 10th on the grid gets his way in there. Alex Smolders from 9th gets up to 2nd. Newhoff and Smolders, Schmidt, and Sant Jr. will make up your top 4. They will go to the feature event and will fight it out for the 30-lap main event. Lewis Hewitt, Skylar Brown, Matt Howard, Justin Thomas, Adam Elby, Joel Berkeley, Jeff Nevins, Bob King, Zach Leonardi will not be getting to the end of the race and into the feature event here in this one, Tommy. And it's good to see that bottom line starting to come in, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, I think, once we get to the main event. But we're going to have a quick ad break here before we get to your feature race. Do not go away. 30 laps coming up here soon. Well, what a preliminary race we just saw that is about to set us up for an amazing feature event here in the 5th round of the USAC World Championship presented by Flow Racing. Tommy, there's 2 things I think we should take away from that race. 1, this is going to be an exciting feature, and 2, that bottom line, the 9 car of Joel Berkeley, even though he's not in the feature, he has shown everyone that the bottom can work.
Yeah, Joel just proved to everyone he was about 2, maybe even 3 tenths faster than just about everybody on the racetrack towards the end of the race. That's why he was able to run down 3rd, 4th, and 5th very, very quickly in the final stages of the race. And just a little bit of contact right there, just trying to make sure he qualified in, running 2nd in the points, trying to do everything he can to get into the event. And unfortunately for him and a couple other drivers find themselves together, and they will not transfer over. But we're getting set to go. 20 of the best USAC wingless sprint car drivers getting set to go here at the Knoxville Raceway. It should be a lot of fun.
So with that, let's take a look at the 20-car starting grid. The 52 of James Edens from Swindell Speed Labs Esport. He'll start on the inside of that front row. From Aiden Purdue of Full Send Racing, starting on the outside of that front row. And then we have Ro Cabre here on row 2. Chase Cabre, the big brother, on the inside. Cole Cabre, the little brother, on the outside. You know they're going to be working together and probably not looking to tangle like what happened last week at Eldora. Joe Quinn and points leader David Heileman, they're going to roll off on row 3 with Anthony Lepresto and Austin Semmelman on row number 4. James Tiernan and Alex Bergeron, they make up row 5. Watch this 14 car of Bergeron. If the bottom line is in, the 14 is one of the best at running the bottom. We've seen him do it with Williams Grove a few times before. Josh Fox and Vinny Sansone on row 6 with Colton Hardy and Ryan Diotti on row number 7. Hunter Connolly and Brennan Rogers on row 8. And then Cole Newhoff and Alex Smolders, Trey Schmidt, and Bobby Sant Jr. will make up the 20-car field here in the feature event. The 52 of James Edens has been a lot of fun to watch this year. We saw him in the late models. We saw him in the winged and off energy drink sprint cars, and he's put on a show and is one of the most consistent drivers in dirt oval racing on iRacing. And now he's going to have the opportunity to kick off the 5th round here at Knoxville in your USAC World Championship presented by Flow Racing. Tommy, any final thoughts as we get ready to go green?
This should be a wild and exciting one. I'm not sure what to expect as far as racing is concerned, but we're getting ready to sit back and enjoy 30 laps around the Knoxville Raceway. It's going to be a good one.
James Edens waiting. Aiden Purdue tries to time it, can't do it. 52, gonna jump out to an early lead. Here comes from the inside, that 39 car of Chase Cabre, trying to get to the inside, can't get there. Little brother Cole, gonna rip the top. He's gonna just about take the 3rd spot. 3 wide for 2nd though, is Cabre in the 39 to the 49 of Heileman up the inside. 49 and the 52 nearly collect each other. Chase Cabre trying to fight on the outside, and I think it's gonna be the 37 of Purdue nearly with the lead. No, nearly 3 wide again to the 49 of Heileman is down there on the bottom.
David Heileman trying to make it 4 in a row as they go 3 wide down the back straightaway. Aiden Purdue going to try to split the middle as David Heileman, he'll slide up to the race lead momentarily. We'll see if he can hold on, keep that momentum through the corner. It'll be David Heileman coming around to complete lap number 2 as your race leaders who work side by side into turn number 1 and 2 for 2nd now.
Want to know why he's leading the points so much? That's why. The 49 of David Heileman in 2 laps has gone from 6th to the race lead. Aiden Purdue cycled into the 3rd spot. James Edens on the bottom trying to harass that 49 car of Heileman. The 39 of Chase Cabre trying to rip the top. Little brother Cole working in the background as well. You also have Bergeron splitting that duo, but look what we're starting to see here, Tommy. There's 3 or 4 cars on the bottom, 3 or 4 cars on the top. This has turned into a multi-groove racetrack as Purdue and Edens continue to fight for 2nd.
Yeah, we questioned in the heat races whether that bottom would come in or not, and I think we've had our answers right here in the main event as they're side by side working for position number 2. James Edens, he'll move up to 2nd. Bergeron, he'll slide up to 3rd as Purdue will fall back to 4. Chase Cabre still hanging on to the top 5, but David Heileman trying to pull away. James Edens trying to close the gap here, working lap number 5. Still 25 laps remaining here in the main event.
Yellow, so that's going to stack the field back up. Who do we got that's around or upside down? It's Ryan Diotti Was running about mid-pack when it happened. Let's see here. I see 3 wide. I see the 41 car involved in the mix there. Maybe the 211 as well. That'd be Colton Hardy and Alex Smolders, and that looks like what it was. Just 3 cars into one lane. Didn't end up working out there, Tommy, and Diotti ends up end over end because of that, and that's pretty much going to be the end of his night.
Yeah, tough break. 41 gets into the 211 in just a little bit. The 211 just comes up the racetrack ever so slightly, gets into the 57 of Diotti, and unfortunately for Diotti, just a victim of circumstances right there, nowhere to go, and he'll wind up position number 20 here tonight as this race is over in the pits.
Some big movers here early in this race. David Heilemann up 5 spots from where he started, from 6th all the way up to the race lead. Alex Bergeron, great start of this race from him. Started 10th. He currently rolls 3rd. A couple other drivers as well. Cole Newhoff in here, Tommy. 17th is where he rolled off, and he currently sits in the top 10. So a handful of guys here in the early goings able to make up some great real estate there in that opening few laps and what was a, let's just call it a fray.
Yeah, Cole Newhoff, haven't heard too much of him this season, trying to put together a great run here tonight at Knoxville, but we're trying to figure out if anybody has anything for David Heilemann, trying to win 4 in a row here with the USAC World Championship Series. Not sure if that's ever been done before in one of these championship series, but David Heilemann trying to pull that feat off here tonight here at the Knoxville Raceway.
Let's see, lights still not yet out on that safety. Oh, nope, I take that back. Lights are out on the safety truck. We will be green this next time by as the field works their way in towards 3 and 4. So looking for the restart. The 49 of David Heilemann is going to have the race lead. Then it's going to be James Eden second, Alex Bergeron rolling off third. Safety truck rolls to the infield. We're back to green flag racing. 14 of Bergeron. He tries to roll down to the bottom. Can't quite get there. We're single file up near the head of the field.
Yeah, Bergeron hit the berm right there going into turn number 1 and 2 as they work down the back straightaway as they work single file right now 1 through 3. Aiden Purdue holding on to position number 4, and then it's mayhem right here for position number 5 right now. You got 4 and 5 cars all right there together as here comes the 12. That's Cole Cabrera. We're working on the top of the racetrack trying to run down James Tiernan for top 5 now.
Cole Cabrera trying to get there on the 98. His big brother, the 39 of Chase Cabrera, right there off the fuel tank as they work down the back straightaway. Those two have been hooked up and near each other all race long. Second and third, relatively close to each other, though. Eden leads over Bergeron, but neither of them, Tommy, seem in the early goings have anything over the 49 of David Heilemann right now. David's not running away, but no one seems able to reel him in.
Yeah, he slipped up right there coming out down the back straightaway, and here comes the 52 of Eden's best run he's had on him thus far as Heilemann, he's taking it back to the top shelf of the racetrack. Eden's working the bottom. He's got something for him here on lap number 10.
Let's see, will it be the slider line from the 52 of Eden's? No, the 49 of Heilemann will have all the real estate he wants to work with off the corner, side by side for the race lead. Bottom line is starting to turn into where you want to be. James Edens picks up the lead. Now, can Alex Bergeron fight for it? 3 wide for the race lead. Alex Bergeron makes it 2 and 1, and he will lead into turn 1.
From third to first in one corner, Alex Bergeron, the Canadian, he'll take him down the back straightaway, trying to run away with it as David Heilemann falls a couple of car lengths back to position number 3. It's now the Bergeron-Eden show as they work into turn number 3 and 4, coming around to complete lap number 13. Still 17 laps to go. Here comes Eden's on the outside now.
Big motor off the outside for the 52 of James Edens. He'll have the race lead at the line by 100th of a second, with a 14 of Bergeron still putting down there on the bottom. See him putting those front tires up on the berms through 1 and 2. He has the lead in 3 and 4, but look at the momentum. Drivers are starting to pick up through the center of the corner on the top side of the racetrack. It's a proper 2-groove racetrack right now, and it was the outside that worked best that time. The 52 of Edens leads as we approach halfway.
David Heilemann, he's going to try to follow suit in position number 3, take it to the outside of the racetrack, trying to get that good momentum in the corners to make the move on Bergeron. Bergeron moves up to the top of the racetrack, slams the door. Now Heilemann, he'll take it down to the bottom, can't get the run, and Bergeron will actually pull away on lap number 15.
Seems to be bottom line in 1 and 2, top line in 3 and 4. Bergeron reels a little bit of sin on the 52 of Edens that time. Down the back straightaway in towards 3 and 4. He'll keep to the top side of the racetrack. Everyone seems to be running that top groove in 3 and 4 at the moment. James Tiernan runs the middle, but he's about the only adventurer really trying out lines amongst your race leaders. Edens going to move down to the bottom once again in 1 and 2. Bergeron follows him. Heilemann, though, he likes ripping the cushion. You don't expect anything else with the Maniac, keeping it right outside by that race wall as we're back to yellow.
Brennan Rogers in the 20. Tough break for him. We'll go back and see what happened. It looks like he gets into the wall all by himself back there. And unfortunately for him, another bad luck night for your race number 1 winner with the USAC World Championship Series. Brennan Rogers struggling here at Knoxville.
He did that all by himself there, did the 20, just got up into the outside wall, stuck the right rear out there, and not much he could really do with that one. But that's going to reset the race lead here for James Edens, Tommy, and that's important because he found the rhythm of bottom 1 and 2, top 3 and 4 before anybody. We saw Alex running the bottom, but he was running the bottom all the way around the racetrack. Edens really found the quick kind of lines at both ends of the racetrack, and he had a nice lead to work with because of it. Now that's all going to get erased.
Yeah, these guys behind him have seen how he's running. We'll see if these drivers will follow suit and try to pick up on Eden's line and try to make a move on him. David Holman, he's been pretty much committed on the outside of the racetrack. That's where he likes to run. We'll see if he'll keep it there or if he can take it down to the bottom, maybe make a move on one of these top 2 drivers. You got Aiden Purdue, James Tiernan running in the top 5 as well. James Eden's looking pretty strong here at Knoxville as we'll come around. I do believe it'll be around 10 laps to go when we go back to green.
Looking that way as let's see if lights will go out on the iRacing safety truck. They're still currently blinking. If they go off, that'll of course be the indicator that we have 1 lap to go here. They come across start finish. Lights indeed do go out. So it's going to be James Edens, Alex Bergeron, David Heileman, Aiden Purdue, and James Tiernan in your top 5 as we set it for the restart here. 10 laps to go will be the marker for these guys when the safety truck peels down on towards pit road. And this is going to be interesting. We've seen a couple of the races recently in this championship end under yellow. And with a late race restart, I don't think it's going to be the 2 out of the question of maybe seeing another incident before this race is done and over with. iRacing safety truck comes back down to the safety of the infield, the 52 of Edens in control. Where is he going to get on it? Waiting. He holds him up for a bit. Waits and he gets on it. Green flag back out. 14:49. Everyone down along the bottom except the 52 of Edens who gets there in the center of the corner. Heileman, he's moved off the top side to defend low. And look at the 39 of Cabre trying to rip the cushion and look right around the outside of the 49. Goes Aiden Purdue.
Aiden Purdue, he's going to try to get around David Holman on the outside of the racetrack. Edens maybe hit that berm on the restart. That's allowed Alex Bergeron to pull all over the back bumper of the 52 of Edens as they work down into turn number 1 and 2 down the back straightaway. Battle is on for the race lead. Here comes Bergeron. He hits the berm, and here comes the 37 of Aiden Purdue now on the outside.
Bergeron was there, he's got the speed, but one mistake took him out of it. 3 and 4 this time. Purdue right up into the outside wall. Bergeron all over the berm. They're going to be nose to nose. As they come across start finish, no, they're not. Purdue is going to have that second spot. Edens gets some breathing room at the 14, feeds the 49 of Heileman a right rear, but Heileman is just going to eat it. Off to turn 2 and down the back straightaway. Move the Heilemaniac back to 3rd.
David Heileman back to 3rd, but the man on the mission right now is Aiden Purdue in car number 37. He's running a very fast line around the racetrack. Actually, the fastest man on the racetrack the last time by with a 28.74 is his quick lap. He's right all over the back bumper of James Edens down the back straightaway. We'll see if he can make a move for the race lead. Coming around, it'll be 6 laps to go.
Comes the driver, that number 37 from Full Send Racing. Another driver on the move, the 39, a Chase Cabre. He's going to set up the move on the outside of Alex Bergeron, but Heileman's in the way, can't quite find a clear line through. Slide job. Heileman on Alex Bergeron, can't quite get it clear, and Cabre can't split him up the middle. He had the opportunity, the door was open, but he couldn't quite get it. 3 cars all scrapping for 3rd, as Purdue and Eden still all over each other for the lead, and we have 5 to go.
Under out of 5 laps to go. James Edens still holding off a very hungry 37 of Aiden Purdue, who's still all over the back bumper. Down the back straightaway, still less than 0.2 of a second is the gap between those 2 drivers as they pulled away from position number 3. David Heileman for the moment. It'll be 4 more times around the racetrack for the Swindell Speed Lab 52 machine of James Edens this time.
Chase Cabre in the background fighting with Bergeron for 4th, and he had it for a moment, but Bergeron able to take it back, and Chase going to throw the slider again, but can't quite get clear. As the 52 of James Edens, Tommy, is starting to stretch a lead as they work in towards 3 and 4. 3 laps to go this time.
Yeah, James Edens ran a very, very fast lap the last time by, able to pull away by about 0.4 of a second on the last lap, make that half a second now over the 37 of Aiden Purdue. James Edens trying to pull away and take the win here at the Knoxville Raceway. It'll be 2 more times around the racetrack next time by.
Down the back straightaway and in towards 3 and 4. Going to see popsicle sticks in the air coming soon. Chase Cabrera is holding on to that 4th spot at the moment. Bergeron in 5th. James Tiernan in the 98 eyeing that number 14 car, trying to work his way into the top 5. Inside line for the 39 of Cabrera. Tries to slide the Hylomaniac, but not going to quite work out for Chase Cabrera. Down the back straightaway for the second to final time and in towards 3 and 4. Does anyone have anything for this? Is Aiden Purdue going to be able to reel in James Edens? Can Chase Cabrera reel the 49 of David Heileman back in towards 1 and 2 for the final time? Purdue is not going to reel that gap in, but Cabrera is there on Heileman up the inside off of turn 2. They're going to touch as they work down the back straightaway, and Cabrera will move into the top 3, but off of 3 and 4 for the final time. James Edens, the Swindell Speed Lab Esport, is going to win here in Knoxville.
What a great drive by the 52 of James Edens, able to put it in victory lane. Aiden Purdue in second. David Heileman, he'll round out the podium here tonight in third. Chase Cabrera fourth, and James Tiernan will round out the top 5 here at Knoxville. Great drive by those drivers, pulling it into a top 5 here at Knoxville Raceway. What a great race we saw right there, Randy. Only one caution, a lot of fun to watch right there.
That was a great run to watch, and it was great watching as well. That fight for third that saw David Heileman just sneak third away from Chase Cabrera. But it's this man, the 52 of James Edens, the winner here in round 5. He breaks the streak of the 49 of David Heileman, and he's going to burn them up there in 1 and 2. James Edens a little bit more than happy with his results here tonight.
Yeah, James Edens almost a perfect night here. Started towards the front, won his heat race and heat race number 2, or heat race number 1, I should say, and started on the pole here tonight and able to put it in victory lane. Great drive by Aiden Purdue, though. Almost came home with it. Little mistake at the end cost him some ground, and James Edens just able to hang on very, very strong here at Knoxville. And we'll get these drivers in here for some interviews here in just a moment, I do believe.
And before that, we'll go down your full race results. James Edens picks up the big win here tonight for Swindell Speed Lab. Aiden Purdue runs second with David Heileman rounding out the top 3. Chase Cabrera comes home in 4th with James Tiernan in 5th. Alex Bergeron 6th. Cole Newhoffen in 7th. Bobby Sant Jr. 8th. Austin Silliman 9th, and Josh Fox will round out your top 10. Cole Cabrera will come home in the 11th spot tonight. Vinny Sansone in 12th. Hunter Connolly in 13th. Anthony Lepresto 14th. Joe Quinn 15th, with Colton Hardy, Alex Smolders, Trey Schmidt, Ryan Diotti, and Brennan Rogers rounding out the 20-car field from the feature event on this one. And Tommy, it took a little bit longer than I thought. It was basically, pretty much about the third of the way, halfway through the B main, till that bottom line came in and was a relevant part of the racetrack to utilize. But when it got there, it was really, really good. It seemed like there was no warm-up period for it. It's like eventually when people started trying it, it was fast.
Yeah, once Joel Berkeley showed it was there in the B main, it was on after that as these drivers utilized that bottom line, able to make some moves through the field. A lot of great drives through the field. Bobby Sant Jr., hard charger here tonight from 20th up to 8th. Also a great drive by Cole Newhoffen. I do believe it's his first top 10 on the season, 17th up to 7th. So able to make some moves, make some passes here at the Knoxville Raceway, and we saw a lot of great 3, even 4-wide action for the race lead at times. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Definitely was. Still waiting on your race winner tonight for James Edens to check in for the interview. We'll get him in here as quickly as we can. But Tommy, this has been a great championship thus far, the way things are forming up, and James has been a lot of fun to watch. And of course, through all the championships thus far this year, I've talked about it. And we now have out of the race car the number 52, James Edens, the big winner here tonight. And James, what a performance for you in that Swindell Speed Labs Esports number 52 here tonight. And you pick up a big win. James, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
That was a lot of fun to watch, James. You had to tangle for it. It wasn't easy. Seemed like you fought with everyone in the top 5 at one point or another. We saw you fighting with Aiden. You fought with David. You fought with Chase. You fought with Alex. I think you fought with the other James Tiernan as well. That had to have been one of the most fun feature wins you've ever experienced.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely wasn't easy. The line changed quite a bit there throughout the race, and you just, that's one of the problems with leading. You never know where it's at, when it changes, where it changes to. So, it definitely gives those guys a little bit of an advantage to get by you, and then you gotta, adjust and try to pass them back. And, luckily we were able to do that tonight.
Now, Knoxville, generally a track everyone really enjoys. We saw some great racing here all night. What is it about this racetrack, though? It seemed like it took longer than what we typically see in likes of the fendered cars, like the late models, or even like the wing cars. Seems like it took a little bit longer for that bottom line to come in, but when it eventually did, it was almost like an on switch. It was just fast. What is it about these non-wing cars that takes them so long to hook up the bottom like that?
It's just one of those things, they just got a lot of horsepower, so, even the bottom's hard to hook up until the top is, pretty much completely gone. So that's just one of those things. It just takes a little longer for that little strip to come back in and be viable, and you just got to be ready for it when it happens. David caught us off guard there the first couple laps and went by everybody down there, so just glad we could, find it and get down there, and then I think he made a couple mistakes and we got back to the lead.
Kokomo next week as we head in towards round number 6. The Speed Lab car is going to be good to go on the to go back boring racing again.
Hopefully, we have kind of struggled. Not so much speed wise, but just getting bad luck. I think this is the first race I've finished without an incident. So I think we definitely got the speed. We just got to have the positioning.
Well, James, congratulations on a huge race win here midway through the championship. And before we let you go, who gets it done for everybody over at Speed Lab?
I just got to thank all the Speed Lab guys, and then the sponsors, Bell Helmets, Weiser Organics, South Bay Partners, and all the guys that make it happen for us.
So there he is, race winner here in round number 5 of your USAC World Championship Series presented by Flow Racing. James Edens takes big win here at Knoxville. Rounding out second on the podium, though, is going to be the 37 of Aiden Purdue from Full Send Racing. And Tommy Rowe, I think you're stood by with him.
All right, Aiden Purdue, your second place finisher here tonight at the Knoxville Raceway of the USAC World Championship Series. Aiden, you were able to hang on for a second place finish here tonight. Looks like you may have had something for James at the end. Talk us through your race, man.
Yeah, it was definitely an awesome experience. We went into heat race and qualifying. I blew my mind how good we did in qualifying. And we sat there and kind of watched the track a little bit, and had David in front of me on my heat race, so I knew he was going to be tough to beat, and kind of sat back for a little bit, threw some sliders, and was able to get the win there. So we knew we had a fast car then, and made a couple adjustments to the track, watched what everyone else was going to do, and luckily had an awesome car for the feature and got to battle with a bunch of great guys. And it was absolutely outstanding to get to race with these guys. They're so, like James said, the lines change so much, and as a leader it's hard, and I understand that. And we had a really good car through the slick, I thought, and top was good all night, and I thought we were going to win on the top, but like a couple other guys said, it changed and went to the bottom and for a little bit, and then it slicked off a lot, and was able to I found the middle groove and through the slick, so I thought we were good there, and that's when we passed everybody else back. So I thought we had a winning car, but we did absolutely amazing. I can't thank all my guys who helped me out this week. Definitely my mom, my dad, Logan Rumsey for spotting me, working on setups, Tyler Chalk also, he's big help. All these guys, it's hard since I'm 14, and all these guys have raced multiple Pro Series, and this is my first Pro Series ever, so it's fun, and I'm learning a lot.
Well, Aiden, we go back to another bull ring track next week. We've been to the big half miles the last 2 weeks with Eldora, and this week Knoxville. What do you have going back to Kokomo that you could probably improve on, bud?
Definitely the bottom. That's one thing I needed to work on last time, and the bottom's really good there, and as well as the top. They made that they moved the tires in a little bit, so I think we'll be good, and I think we might have a top 3, top 5 car there for next week.
Well, Aiden, congratulations on your second place finish here tonight, and best of luck to you next week, bud.
Thank you.
All right, race fans, that's Aiden Purdue, your second place finisher here tonight for the USAC iRacing World Championship Series presented by Flow Racing. And I do believe Randy is standing by with the Holomaniac himself, David Heileman, our third place finisher.
Everyone gets strapped in, because this interview is going to be a more exciting ride than I think the trip around this racetrack would be in these race cars. David, you broke the streak of wins, unfortunately, but you come home with another strong third-place finish, if I recall correctly, yet to finish off the podium tonight. And, well, with a lot of your championship rivals having, let's say, horrible nights tonight, this sets you up perfectly for the championship thing.
Yeah, championship. we started front row in a heat race again, and I really think that's just been the key, kind of get lucky in qualifying, and wasn't able to wing it. It was tough to just finish second, and then I was like, all right, I'll have to get by the Cabry brothers and see if I can get to Egan's and race with them, and then found myself in the league in lap 2. I got all excited. I was like, oh man. And then I spit out my gum, my Wicked Energy gum under yellow. And I kept screaming, and I couldn't find it. And I knew I had to find it, and all my luck was gone after that. But I was like, all right, bottom 1 and 2 is still there, but just off feel. I didn't feel like I missed it, but James pulled in a bunch. And in warm-up, I never really got a clean lap on the top side. And as soon as I went to run 1 and 2 the next lap thing on the top, I got 2, I was like, oh boy, this ain't gonna be good. And then him and Alex were inside of me already, and then 3 and 4, just I had to run top there again. And like I was behind him, and I was hoping they'd race a little bit, and I was able to stay with them. And I was like, all right, I gotta find a new line in 1 and 2. What is it? That other caution came out. I was like, what line do I have to run? The top is not there. I'm not gonna pass him on the bottom. And then the next restart, Egan Purdue just blew by me in the middle and showed everybody the line.
Well, David, you're one of the most energetic drivers in the series there. I don't know of many people that get so excited under yellow that they spit their gum out, but you said it last week. You're looking to make your way all the way out here to Ventura to get the opportunity to wheel a sprint car around the short track up there. And with all the electricity problems that are going on up here with the weather and power companies shutting off cities and whatnot to prevent fires, think your energy is going to help us bring some electricity back to California when we eventually see you in a couple months?
Yeah, I hope so, because like I said, the other 2 guys, unfortunately Joel and Zach, didn't even make the feature, so I was like, all right, I can go for this win. I can get 4 in a row. Even if I crash, I'm not losing any points at all. So I was all in it for the win. It just wasn't, I couldn't catch those guys at the end. I had nothing for them, just stay even. But good win to James, and good run by Egan.
Well, thanks for joining us, David, and congratulations on another 3rd place finish. And like you said, with so many of your championship contenders, Berkeley with the closest, 62 points back. He doesn't make the main event. Leonardi doesn't make the main event. Cole Cabrera is, I think, the closest of your rivals. Actually, no, Bergeron, but Bergeron is all the way down in 6th, nearly 120 points back. So you have one hand on the trophy, I think, already. So you really are the strong contender at the moment. Congratulations, setting yourself up for the last few races of the championship, and good luck to you through. And before we let you go, who gets it done for that Slick Sim Sport automobile?
Yeah, I got 2 shout-outs I forgot last week. I get excited. But thanks Tim Nichols and Tim Dirt Track Simulators. They hooked me up with a nice place to stay at Howard Johnson Inn in Lima, Ohio for the 4 Crown last week. Enjoyed it there. Met a couple other iRacers. And of course, RacersOnly.com, the latest and greatest dating app built by racers for sim racers. And then of course you got Wicked Energy Gum, 2 Brothers Stream Team, all the guys at Slick. And shout out to the homie C Sales 414 and Free Hong Kong.
There he was, David Heileman, with your post-race interview tonight. Comes home with a strong 3rd place finish. And Tommy, you have one more interviewee that we're going to have a chat with. That's going to be the 5th place runner of the 98 of James Tiernan.
All right, James, you started 9th here this evening. Come home with a great top 5 finish. Walk us through your race and what the track was like, bud.
Well, it was slick. Really hard finding the traction there. And then once you kind of found it, everyone else started copying. As you saw, I was one of the first guys to go to that middle lane, and it just was really hard to get past by anybody. So I think I had a car for the top 3. I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of a little bit disappointed in myself just in how poor I did in qualifying. But overall, fantastic car. I can't complain about that performance going from 9th to 5th. So overall, it was a really good race. Heats were a little crazy. Thank God I didn't get caught up in any of that. But I had a lot of fun tonight.
Yeah, you were able to run right there with Chase Cabrera, Alex Bergeron. I do believe you're in the mix with David Heileman for a little bit as well, running throughout that mid-pack. Had to be a lot of fun running out there here at the Knoxville Raceway. What was the mindset coming in here to Knoxville? You only ran 4 races so far, and you come in here about 10th in the points. What's your mindset coming into Knoxville?
Coming into Knoxville, I didn't want to set that expectation to myself that I had to get the podium again. I just wanted to make sure I run what the car gave me and not try to kill myself in this car tonight. Really just try to get some points, get into that top 10. So I think I did that really well. I didn't try to throw anything too egregious early on. I was just kind of running where I could and behaving as best as I could. So overall, really good run for what I was kind of setting out to do. I wasn't out there trying to set the world on fire today.
Well, head back to Kokomo next week for the second time this season. What are your expectations?
Expectations? I don't know. My bull ring runs have not been all that great so far, so I guess it's back to the shop. This setup was pretty darn saucy, so we're hopefully to add on to this. Hopefully, loosen it up, get it better for these bull rings. But yeah, huge shout out to Billy for helping me out with this. We put a lot of time and effort in our setups recently, and I think it's shown in our performance.
Well, before we let you go, James, who helps you get it done on that race car?
Well, first of all, my biggest sponsor, Herget Real Estate, the Racers Real Estate. So again, anyone looking for property, specifically dealing with racing, you got trailers of mine, big garages. Ryan Herget is the guy to go to. He is the man. He's awesome to work with. He's a pleasure. He's a lot of fun, and he loves racing. So definitely huge help there. A huge shout out to Over the Wall Photography if you guys looking for pictures, posters, that kind of stuff. Really good place to go to. Motorsports Beat. And last of all, BS Air. And lastly, I'd like to thank Flow Racing and USAC for putting this whole deal together. I'd like to thank you guys for commentating, because it's a lot of fun to go back and watch this kind of stuff. So thank you all.
Well, James, congratulations on another top 5 finish here tonight. Wish you the best of luck next week, bud.
Thanks, boss. Hopefully I'll talk to you next week.
All right, race fans, that's James Tiernan, your 5th place finisher here tonight at the Knoxville Raceway. And Randy, I do believe we got some points to go over before we let everybody go.
Yeah, we definitely do, and some people might have been wondering why when I was talking to David Heilemann, it was almost a sure thing with him potentially being the champion. Look at this points graphic that we have. David Heilemann in one race has nearly doubled the points gap he has to second spot, 127 points. The gap from James Edens to David Heilemann, who leads, and then things get closer there on the bottom, of course. 5 points separate second to third, and then only 5 points between third and fourth, 2 points back to fifth, 14 points back to sixth. But my lord, Tommy, David is just running away with this thing, and it's not just a speed thing. People have had the speed on the 49 car. We saw both Edens and Purdue were quicker than him. I'd say the likes of Cabré, Tiernan, and a couple of cars behind him were about as quick as he was. That, there's not been a single race where I've thought the 49 of Heilemann was just the clearest, fastest car by a half a second and stretching a huge lead over everyone and dominating races. Just no one's having any consistency. Berkeley comes in second in the points, doesn't make the feature. Leonardi, if I recall, was third in the points coming in, doesn't make the feature. Cole Cabré was, I believe, fourth coming into this race, if memory serves. He starts up in the top 4 and then runs down all the way to 11, so he doesn't make up good points. Heilemann's just the only one right now of any of the front runners that have had any consistency.
Yeah, only 7 drivers right now have multiple top 5 finishes here in the USAC World Championship Series. Only one has more than 3, and that's David Heilemann, who's finished in the top 5, finished in the top 3 in every race so far this season for the USAC World Championship Series. Just the consistency that he's put in so far is helping him run away with this championship as we run down the final 4 weeks. Starting next week at Kokomo, should be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it is going to be a lot of fun. Kokomo next week. We've seen the quarter milers a lot, Tommy. Of course, we started this championship out on a bit of a bull ring swing with Fairbury, Kokomo, and Limeland all back to back to back. Then we hit the 2 big half milers of Eldora and then Knoxville tonight, and then Kokomo again next week. That gives us sort of a decent idea of how Kokomo is going to go. But I think of these final 4 tracks, I think the big curveball for these guys is going to be Williams Grove. Kokomo, Limeland, and Fairbury, they've ran them once before. They're all relatively similar, high bank, quarter-mile race tracks. They, of course, have their differences, but overall very similar. Williams Grove, a very different racetrack from anything else we have on the schedule. And with these big, that's a big half-mile racetrack with long straightaways in these non-wing cars. It's going to be interesting seeing these guys get them slowed down for the corners.
Yeah, we've got the 3 bull rings left in Kokomo, Limeland, and Fairbury, and those are going to be curveballs on their own. But Williams Grove is going to be the slider that's thrown in there in the mix. It's going to be very, very interesting for guys like David Heilemann, who comes in here with a 120-point lead leaving tonight. That could very well be a difference maker. We've seen one race. Cole Cabré came in last week about 20 points out. He didn't make the main event. Left last weekend at USA. Where were we at last week? Eldora. We left Eldora. He was over 100 points out of the points contention. So one race could really change swings as far as the points are concerned here. And David Heilemann, he's just going to keep up the momentum that he's had the first 5 weeks and see if he can't wrap up the championship here in these last 4 races starting next weekend at Kokomo.
And it's going to be a fantastic swing. 4 more races left in this championship to decide it. However, that is going to wrap us up here for the 5th round of your USAC World Championship Series, brought to you by Flow Racing. The 5th race here at Knoxville, won by the 52 of James Edens. We, of course, have to thank all the sponsors that make this championship possible. Our thanks go to USAC and Flow Racing for all the support they give to the sim and to us. And our thanks as well goes out to everyone else making this championship possible. It was myself, Tommy Rowe, and Hugo Louis behind the action for this one, but we need to prep ourselves as we run down to the end of this championship tomorrow afternoon, 5 p.m. Eastern. Tune in on either NBSN, NBCSN, or the iRacing Sports Network. Is this going to be the finale round of the eNASCAR Peak Canyon Freeze iRacing Series from Homestead? Who is going to take the championship? Is it going to be Keegan Leahy, Bobby Zielinski, Blake Reynolds, or Zach Novak? They will be fighting it out for the lion's share of a $120,000 prize pool. Only one race to decide it. And then on the weekend, we will move to the 2nd round of your Thrustmaster Rallycross World Championship Series. That's going to be a great one as well. They will take on Daytona Short for the 2nd round of that championship. But till next time, and until then, we hope to see you all next time. Bye-bye.